Welcome to Black Businesses Matter, a podcast about why Black businesses matter and the benefits of collaborating and advocating for Black businesses to drive impact. Each episode will cover legacy, hope, Black joy, funding sources, cultural shifts, equality, and so much more. We will provide inspiration and action while spreading some joy to a thriving community of Black business owners and leading thought leaders.
I am Lakeba Williams, your host and the founder of the L3 Agency.
Known as the brand maven who transforms organizations with her storytelling prowess, meet Lakeba L. Lofton, host of Black Businesses Matter, a podcast about why Black businesses matter and the benefits of collaborating and advocating for Black businesses to drive impact.
Welcome back to another episode of Black Businesses Matter. You all know that we've been talking about trauma this entire season. We're digging deep. So you really got to lean into this season. We're doing something different. There might be a moment you might get teary-eyed. There's a moment here that might shake your whole body, and that's okay, right? Because we're in a safe space to be able to do this. It's important that we bring people who not only are operating in this space, have experience, have tools, have things that will help us understand that we don't have to continuously live in our trauma, that we don't have to continuously live on survival mode. And when I tell you about our next guest, it's going to blow your mind because I was connected to her during a time that we were looking for therapists or people that work in this space and talking about mental health. She was such a light for me that I was like, we got to get her on the show. I was like, we have to get her on the show. And at the time, listeners, I want you guys to understand this. At the time, she said she was going to be away for 2 months. Okay. 2 months. And I was like, oh Lord. And she was on a sabbatical for 2 months because she is a source that I truly believe that God has put her on this earth, and he allows her to take a break to be with nature, be with the things that matter to her, and be able to get her cup full. And that, as business owners, we have to receive that. We have to be okay with it. We can't live in guilt. I shared with her just the things that I've experienced, that I still experience. And so this particular episode is for those business owners where you are running that rat race, that you are doing 20 hours, that you are just doing, but you're not being. And so my next guest, I am certain and confident that you're going to be able to walk away, because I promise you the short time that she and I did, like, she dropped some things that I walked away and was like, oh, can I hold on to that? Please let me hold on. Just the fact that she was like, I'm taking off for 2 months. That was enough for me to say, who does that as a business owner? And a business owner that is a Black woman, who does that? Well, I'm ready to tell you all who does that. Dr. Lakeba is the director of Fresh Hope Counseling Center, LLC, which is FHCC, a multidisciplinary behavioral healthcare practice established in 2012, where she helps individuals and organizations become more adaptable. I love that word. Her training and her credentials include licensed professional counselor with a BS in social work from Southern University, A&M College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which we just discovered we were there at the same time, an MED in community agency counseling, and a PhD in adult education, both from Auburn University in Auburn, Alabama. She has experience working with adults suffering from the devastating effects of race-related traumatic stress, trauma, breathe, y'all, breathe, and abuse, depression, anxiety, anger management issues, relationship issues, and grief and loss. I'm taking a breath because those things might just hit for you just when I'm introducing her. So I'm asking you to lean in, whether that's taking a drive, where you're driving, whether you're on a public transportation, whether you're sitting at home. This is one episode that you should probably share with your entire family and your tribe. Trust me on this, guys. With over 30 years of experience, Dr. Lakeba is committed to strengthening the emotional, mental, and spiritual health of her clients. And I will add, into the land. Okay. Welcome to the show, Dr. Lakeba.
It is so good to be with you. I'm so thankful.
Oh, yeah. That makes me happy because you just have that aura about you. And I know it's a gift from God that you are truly walking in your purpose. And it feels so genuine. And that's, when we think about mental health and the things that come with that, the negative of mental health, let me just say that. Dr. Lakeba, you are the complete opposite of the persona of how mental health, right? We think of this mental health counselor as going to be, not very aggressive, very much that, because I've heard, Black men say that, but you are like the complete opposite of that. And it's so freeing to be able to know that it exists.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Lakeba, while you have incredibly built this practice to help, what I want listeners to know and our viewers to know, like, who was Dr. Lakeba growing up? Because, people see this, but who were you growing up? I think we need to invite the world and to know that before Dr. Lakeba, who was Lakeba?
So I love that question. And if I may, before I answer it, I just want to thank you for creating a space where used to be little girls, grown now, can come, and share and do what we love to do, which is lift up our people.
Yes.
And I know that that's because that is important to you.
Yes.
And so that is not lost on me, the doors that you're opening. And so I pray God's richest blessings on you and your team.
Thank you.
I am so thankful. Yeah, so thankful for you.
Thank you.
So who was I as a little girl? I was the same way that I am now.
I believe that.
I remember being with my big mama. She was a double amputee.
Wow.
She had diabetes, and you know how that disease is in our community. Oh. And it had affected her in ways that she lost both of her legs at the knee. And so this is my maternal great-grandmother. So my grandmother was responsible for her care. And I would notice when my grandmother was getting frustrated with, taking care of her, and it's the challenges of a caregiver, right?
Yep.
And so I just say, I'll do it. I'll sit in there with Big Mama. So I remember sitting in her room up on her hospital bed, because she had a hospital bed, and she'd say, baby, if you go in there and get me this, you can have this. We can eat this together. So I just sit with her, and man, I tell you, I think the wisdom of just sitting up under her, and being in her presence. And I think that started my journey as being with people in their difficult situations when they can't go nowhere, because she couldn't,
Yeah. And that thing
that's where it started.
And that's where it started for you. And how old were you then?
Gosh, I was about 10 or 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
About 10 or 11.
Wow.
And I would sit up there. So I was old enough to, I played sports, and so I was out with my friends.
Yeah.
It wasn't a sob story. It really was when I had the time, when I wasn't playing basketball, when I wasn't out with my friends, when I wasn't at Girl Scout or Brownie, meetings. I was right up under her and trying to give my grandmother that respite that she needed. Because if anybody's on this call, you know that being a caregiver is exhausting.
It is.
And it can push you to your limits. And so I just give her a break and sit in there. And man, it was one of the highlights of my childhood, really.
Yeah.
I
think it's beautiful. So, I think the caregiving journey right then versus now. And it's weird because I remember my grandfather staying with us, and it didn't seem like caregiving. It just seems like he's staying with us, and that was it, right? It wasn't, and so me and my brother would be excited. We get out of school, we get to see our grandfather. Like, it was like the things but we didn't know that, deep down, right, it was a lot for my mom, right? It was a lot. But one of the things that I think happened is that which made it very easy for me to be to support my mother as she was transitioning, right? It wasn't like, oh my gosh, it was like, oh, it would be an honor. It would be a privilege, because I watched how she took care of her grandfather. And what's interesting, Dr. Lakeba, I might get a little emotional. I told everybody else, but I might get emotional. I'm okay with that.
Safe here.
I didn't know later. My mother passed away in November 23, right?
Okay.
Right before my mother passed away, she was in the hospital. And I don't know, I say it's an encounter with God. If you haven't experienced it, maybe you will, but I had an encounter with God, and God had shared to me that I needed to ask my aunt, what is the secret in our family? And she just, I said, well, my mother at the time, she was, coming out, and I said, but the Lord told me that I have to ask to free my mother. And so it was hard because you just don't know, right? Yeah. I called my aunt, and she was like, your mom never told you anything? And I said, no. And she said, okay. She was like, never. I said, no. She was like, we don't talk about this. And I said, it's okay. I said, but if my mother's life is on the line, I need you to tell me, right? And she told me what my grandfather had done to his children. But my mother, she still served.
Yeah.
She still served. And each sibling had a very different perspective, right? So in some ways they shunned my mother because my mother got out. She got out. She lived with her older sister. She met my dad, right? She got out and she got a different life, right?
Yeah.
And she never shared it with me. She never shared that story with my grandfather with me. She let me have a moment with my granddaddy. And so in some ways, I felt a certain kind of way because my grandfather was different from what she had, right? But as I learned is that's where my mother felt. She never went to see her father in the cemetery. She never, she let me have the moment, but she never shifted my view of my grandfather. And that's when I realized that God wanted me to be free from that, right? And so that some of the things that my mother was experiencing was that she had so much trauma, and she didn't know what that was. Yeah. And so when you share that, and so in that place of caregiving, I'm grateful that, I had this encounter with God and we could be free to talk about this, right? That my mother had to leave here for us to really talk about it because it was too much for her to probably the burden of that and feeling the way that she felt because her family member, she was, she, as they say, she was moving on up. She stepped out and decided that wasn't the life that she wanted to live. And she didn't want her children to live like that. So my mother was that protector. My mother was that person. She wasn't going to leave me alone with uncles or me. She was never going to let me be like that. And so while I you sharing that caregiving, it just made me realize as a little girl the things that I was exposed to, but I didn't know, right? Yeah. And knowing that today now lets me see things very different, that we are all have something inside of us that, right? And so
it's the reason we do what we do, you know, and that's one of the things. You and I are connected for a reason. That's one of the things that I can truly say I love about you, just the authenticity, because the story that you're sharing is the story of so many of our families, if we're honest.
Yep.
And the reason we have to talk about it today is because we know that the body keeps the score.
Yes, it does.
So we may not talk about it.
Yep.
But it's registering.
Yep. That's so
and it's
true.
manifesting itself in our relationships, in our health,
yep.
in our businesses, the way we're not growing and we're fearful and anxious. And you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. And I felt for years. And so, you know, I want to say, like, at what moment did you, like, your passion was clear that this is the space, right? Did it come through other things that you did and was like, okay, this is it? Or was it a clear runway to that you literally got here as a clear runway? Or was it?
It was clear. No, it was clear. I remember being a child and playing with my friends outside. And when we were in Mississippi, sitting up under a big old oak tree. And you remember those little candies, the Smarties?
Yes, I do. Oh, I love Smarties.
Yes, I used to love those. So I'd open up the pack and I'd have my patients and I'd pass them out their medicine. So, you know, I knew I was going to be a healer. I knew that as a young child. In my early teen years, I had the experience of being with somebody that was up on we're in a housing project in the Dearborns in Chicago, and they're saying that, you know, I'm getting ready to jump out of this window, and I'm standing there with the person, and I'm saying, you know what, don't do it. Now, this is a child doing that. So nothing is for nothing. I think that all of that prepared me for what I'm doing now, you know, and it was other things.
Wow.
You know, life hadn't been no crystal stair.
Right.
But boy, the path has been clear for me. I am undeniable.
And so what did you go straight into building your practice, or did you kind of work under, or did you go straight into building the practice?
Great question. So I worked, I was a minister's wife. So, you know, as a minister's wife, my children had preacher for a daddy. So, you know, you're always taking care of people as a preacher's wife.
Yeah.
And went to school, got the master's degree, and decided, you know, with the life that we were living, I was always involved in nonprofits and ministry. And so I come from a long line of spiritual healers, preachers, worship leaders, and ministers of music, and you name it, that's what I come from. And so as soon as I got that master's degree, I said, I'm gonna start this practice.
Wow.
So I did what we have to do.
Yeah.
I worked for an agency, got my hours for my full licensure, and then started a business and started bringing people on to practice with me. And what a privilege to expose newly master's level counselors, Black women, white women. I mean, I got the Black men. I got the privilege to give people right out of the master's degree.
Wow.
Hey, this isn't just for other people. This is for you too.
Wow.
So that entrepreneurship has been a part of my life ever since when I got that degree. I said, let's go.
Yeah, and you went to Southern A&M. I'm just going to say Southern University, girl.
Yes.
You know, them HBCUs will tell you basically.
Oh, I was so prepared.
I know. You were so prepared.
Oh, I was so prepared.
And that, you know, they'll do that to you. And people like, it's nothing like a HBCU education. I tell people it's nothing like it. So knowing that, right, in this place that we live in, Dr., you know, like, girl, you know, they gonna steal from me. You know, if you bring on more people, what if they, you know, they gonna run off and do their own business?
And they will.
Ooh, Dr. Lakeba.
And isn't that why you're doing it?
Come on. all the time. I want you to go out here and do it. I agree. I totally agree. I'm so glad that you said it, because I think that's what's holding us back, that we're so afraid, but that is what you want them to do, right? You want them to be inspired by what you do and say, hey, I'm gonna go do it. And I'm here to support it. And I'm grateful. But you know, as business owners, right? And you and I just talked about this. We are working 20 hours. I don't live that life no more, but I'm grateful. But you're working these hours. So you're not eating.
Yeah. You're
not present.
Yeah.
You're not able to take a walk, right? Because we know walking is a healer.
Right.
And so you're not walking, but you're clocking hours, whether you work for somebody or you're building your own company. And so how do you shift, Dr. Lakeba? How do you help people to undo some of that?
You know, every day I'm trying to help people learn how to live a conscious journey. I think a lot of that is we're unconscious. We've got a lot of programming from, like we talked about before we got on air, a lot of programming about the hustle and the grind and all of that. And we just fall right in line with it. And I'm saying that a lot of that is unconscious programming. But once you become conscious of what you're doing and why, you realize nobody gets to the end of their life and they're like, ooh, I wish I would have worked more. Nobody.
Ooh, that's
Nobody.
So true.
Nobody.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody.
Oh my gosh. And I say this because we were talking about, time off and sick days and this. And my aunt said, she was like, I left my company when I retired with like 300 freaking vacation days and sick days, right? Of course, they paid her. Yeah. But she said but I missed a lot because I didn't take it.
Like you said, we don't take the walks. We don't take the vacations. We're on the grind.
Yep.
And it's a very scarcity mindset. Yes, we have to work to build it.
Yep.
But we also have to trust.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was able to do is, like you said, you bring people into the business, they learn the model and they go duplicate it.
Yep.
And sometimes they acknowledge your contribution and oftentimes they don't.
Correct.
But I got the privilege of working with my children, which is so cool.
Oh, wow.
Because, and they had a choice, right? It's like, hey, you can come and work with me or you can do your own thing. It doesn't matter. And so that's happening. And they ain't going nowhere. That's one of the ways that you can build this generational wealth and this legacy, and it's not just my kids that are that. It's also my kids, right? That I didn't give birth to from my body.
Yeah.
But I tell you, they call me mama.
I love it.
And they do what I do for a living,
That's awesome.
And that's another way we do it.
Yeah.
I'm working myself out of a job.
Oh, Dr. Can you say that? You working? Say that again.
I'm working myself out of a job. Yeah.
As an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Right? Because,
absolutely.
We hear these stories of people who, I have a lot of friends right now that are retiring, right? They've been at their job 25, 30 years. And it's such a blessing.
At that age,
I know.
Yes.
It's such a blessing.
Yes.
But I told somebody as entrepreneurs, right? What does that look like for us, right? Why are we gonna keep working at the same level? Are you still gonna do this? Like,
come on.
We gotta figure. You got, because this thing, I ain't gonna. And no shade to anybody else, but if I've got 25 years in here, I don't know, I'm gonna be doing this for another 25, and I'm okay with that, right? I might be doing something else, but I may not do this anymore. And I think like this idea of like, and I would love to say this. I would love to ask this to you because I don't think that. I was reading something recently about entrepreneurship and it blew my mind because I was like, that's not what entrepreneur. So I want to say for you, what does entrepreneurship look like for you? And
freedom.
That's the word. So when I saw it, I'm so glad you said it. It didn't have freedom. And I said, entrepreneurship is a lifestyle of freedom. That is all that it is. Like, yes, we make money. Yes, but it's a lifestyle of freedom, which means that, right? What happens, and I know that you are aligned with me in that because of from a ministry and then building from that was that I didn't want to explain to a business that I'm taking off because my girlfriend's daughter, who is my daughter too, is sick.
Yeah.
And she can't at the time get off, but I have the freedom to go and pick her up.
That's right.
How do I don't want to do, like she was a single mother trying to figure that thing out and she needed some support and I was the emergency contact, right? Yeah. I don't want to have to call. So it's not my biological daughter. No, I didn't want to have to explain.
Yeah. And the cultural implications of it, right? In our culture, that's not how we do it. That's my family.
That's my family.
But then folks want to, well, are they your dependents?
Do you file them on your taxes?
Right.
Is it, now where's the daddy? Because they start asking all the questions.
Right.
So from there, I think that I'm so glad that you said from freedom. And I think the freedom to be able to do this. So what do you, based on the things that you specialize, if you would, and I know it's a lot, right? But if you were to say, Larvetta, in order, what are many of us, Black, and I'm going to say brown, what is, and not to say that what we're experiencing isn't what others aren't. So this isn't no comparison. I'm just saying, if we were to take the top 3, what are some of the top 3 things that you see for us that really impacts our ability to thrive?
Great question. I think it's the trauma. I think it's the transgenerational transmission of the trauma.
Tell me, break that down.
Yeah. It's what you just talked about earlier. It's the secrets that we keep and the fears that are resulting from that, right? And so I think it's the trauma that keeps us, from thriving. I think it's the just not knowing how to, I'm going to say this.
Yes.
We got to grow up. I think we have so much, there's a trauma and then there's a drama. Ooh. So the drama is the result of us just not growing up. We don't have boundaries. It's a lot of talk about that these days in our families and people getting in people's business and in their relationships and how much counting their coins. I'm talking about, just so much drama. So I think what really impedes us too is just the drama. We got to grow up. We got to grow up. I'm actually reading this book, How to Be an Adult in Relationships. And the author has a subtitle of 5 Keys to Mindful Loving. Not living, loving. I'm going to give those to us if I can.
Yes, please.
Those 5 A's are attention, acceptance, appreciation, affection, and allowing.
Ooh.
So the author is saying that in order for us to grow up in relationship, we've got to have those 5 A's. So maybe we didn't get it as children. Not too late. We can reparent ourselves.
Oh, I like
so you ask a great question. What's holding us back? It's the trauma. It's the drama. And I think the last thing is we're just not conscious. We don't know why we're doing what we're doing. So we need to sit on somebody's couch and find out, okay, what's leading to this behavior? How do we do that? I tell my clients, T plus F equals A. Your thoughts are going to lead to feelings, and your feelings are going to lead to actions. T plus F equals A. So if you cussing people out or amping on people, go back to your thoughts. What are you thinking? How do you see yourself? How do you see other people? How do you see the world? Even with what's going on in our world right now, I have a very positive mental image. I prayed at church on Sunday, and I said, Lord, I thank you that I'm Black.
Wow.
Because I do.
I know that's right.
It's a positive mental image. Because that leads me to feel good about myself.
Yeah.
Even in this political
climate.
culture, in this climate.
Yeah.
And that leads me to act differently. So I really believe it's the trauma, it's the drama, and we need to be conscious. We need to wake up. We need to know why we're doing what we're doing. Because that's the only way we can change what we're doing. Why are you doing that? Why are you acting like that? I don't know. I've always acted like that. Okay.
So if you, ouch, for those that's listening, ouch, because, but Dr. Lee, isn't those the stories that we were told?
Absolutely.
And
that's how it's transmitted from generation to generation until it's not. Do you believe that, and I've got this theory, and it's my own theory, because as a marketer, we always got a theory or some kind of hypothesis behind behaviors, right? Because we want people to buy from us or, tell them about this. And I've said to us is that those things that have put us in bondage, and we've used it as the enemy, right? We've put it as bondage, right? We've used it as the enemy. No. No. And I'm going there. Because this is my platform. This is my podcast. And you telling the truth.
I'm going to speak it all day till I can't speak no more, right?
Oh, yes.
And let me say this, it ain't the enemy. It's you. So the story that you got, right? That story that you had is not true, but that's part of the reasons why, right? When they talk about divorce rates, it's so high in Black communities. When they talk about the health issues, they're so high in this. That I believe that it's all of the stories and the thoughts that we said about ourselves is why we don't have these thriving relationships, marriages, whatever they are, whatever. And that health and knowing this health, that's what I believe. And I will say this too, Dr. Lakeba, when you said grow up and say that lesson that your auntie gave you is the lesson, is the trauma that she had, that she is projecting on you to keep you from meeting your Prince Charming or having a business or having whatever it is. And we do it, right? And so we'll say, now don't go do that now. No, you're saying that because that occurred for you. And we have to, when you said conscious, is know that level of being conscious about it, you can tell auntie, thank you for sharing your story. That's not my story.
Oof.
Thank you, because you appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate it.
And that's not my story. Not but.
Thank you for sharing. Those are that's my go-to. Thank you for sharing.
It's funny. We having a therapist moment. So so Dr. Lakeba, the other part is I just got married 3 weeks ago, right?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
That's what it is. That's what the glow is.
A lot of people say that. It's the glow of it. So I receive it. And my now husband, which I'm grateful for, because he's okay for me to say this, so I'm not saying things out of order. We did a lot of therapy together, a lot. And one of the therapists says, you got to get into a habit of saying, thank you for sharing. And we had gotten to a space, and it was awkward at first, but it's like, that's what we do. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. And it's helped us to understand like our different perspectives. And so much like what you said, Dr. Lakeba, my husband grew up, he grew up in the Ickies. The Ickies, right next to Dearborn, right? And I grew up 2 blocks away in Lone Grove on 21st in Michigan, right? So, right, we're proximity, right? We're 2.5 blocks from each other, but my perspective is very different from his perspective. Ain't that crazy? Right?
It's real.
It's so, and I think that that's an opportunity. I remember my therapist. So I say that to say that therapy, when he came, he was like, I don't know, but he was so, that thing, but was, always grounded in the Lord and was like, but realizing that it's really getting out of our heads and the thoughts that we've believed. And so you would believe that in some ways, how could I've met this kind of woman, right? But ultimately our hearts are similar, right? It's not, you grew up here, but our hearts are so aligned that we feel what we feel together, and we don't understand that. But I will say this, that when you talked about the relationship from the book, it hits because I come from a home that I suffer from acceptance. Okay. And accepting the fact that I was different. I was not like, I had a name like Larvetta, Dr. Lakeba Larvetta.
I know.
We weren't, Helen, Monica.
It was all the loves when we came about. Keisha, love.
Come on, Lanisha, LaShawn, all the things. So we were never walking in where it was like, all my friends had these wonderful names, and nothing against their names. But then you get to the teacher like, Larvetta, you like, present, but that you're different, right? And so that thing of acceptance and accepting that you're not like others, not that you're better, lower, it's just you're just not like others. And it takes that acceptance was a big thing. And then the other part that when I think about acceptance, and I would love to understand, is I think accepting, I love that oh my gosh, when you said, I'm praying that I am so grateful to be Black. Oh, yeah. It's so funny that you say that, because we were talking about this offline in the studio. I bet on Black. Oh, yes. That's who I am. That's who I am to the core. Yes. And I want that, for others, for that. But I do agree with you that I'm grateful that I am, whether you don't see my beauty, whether you don't see my value, whether you don't see what I offer to this world, I don't really care that you don't.
That part.
I'm done. I'm not asking to sit at the table. I got my own table and I'm happy with the table that I'm in, right? And so we have to accept the fact that our differences, and we say this a lot, our difference doesn't have to be deficient. Right?
Because you're wonderful too. And I think that's when you get that, when you're a conscious being. You can celebrate, somebody is different from you. And it's not that you're not celebrating yourself. You're doing both at the same time, because it doesn't threaten you.
It doesn't. It does not. You're listening to Black Businesses Matter, and we will continue our conversation in a second. But first, take a listen to this special message for our BBM fam.
We know how important it is to stay connected, so why not join our BBM Fam Club for special announcements and exclusive offers by texting BBM FAM to 312-300-1300. That's BBM FAM to 312-300-1300 today. Now let's get back to Black Businesses Matter.
How does drama, because I love that you said drama, how does drama show up as a business owner? I wonder. How do you see that? You showing up to getting on the sofa, you all well kept, you know what I mean? The world sees you as well kept, but you showing up in there. How does that drama show up? I'm just curious.
Yeah. Well, you got to do your own work so that you're not taking things personal. Oh. I think it shows up when you take things personally. And you don't have a positive mental image of yourself, so you're offended a lot. I used to say, it probably happened in mid-30s, I realized how much being offended costs me. I need the anointing.
Oh my God.
And when I'm offended, it drains my power, and I need my power to deal with what I'm dealing with and to do what I do. And so I think the drama shows up when and all it takes is another person. It's two people to have drama. If I'm in a role of rescuing somebody, there's actually a concept called the drama triangle. I'm just full of lessons today. If you'll rock with me.
You're a PhD. Come through with the lessons.
This whole idea of it takes two people. And if I'm in the role of being a rescuer, I need to be in charge. I need to be needed. I'm going to tell people I'm in relationship with, just do what I say and everything will be okay. Or if I'm in the role of a victim, my life is unmanageable and I need somebody to help me all the time. Now, this is the role I play. Or if I'm the persecutor, where I'm tired of the victim being the victim, or I'm tired of the rescuer, taking over, that's where the drama comes from. And when we get out of those roles and we decide to be an adult, and it's said this way, adults are responsible for what they think, do, and say. I don't need to rescue you. And I don't need to be rescued. Come on, somebody.
Wow.
Because I have a positive mental image of myself and a positive mental image of other people. We can figure it out. Now, if you need my help, ask me. If I can help you, I will. But I'm not going to assume you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I assume it, then you can't. I'll take over.
Yeah.
That's how it perpetuates the drama. Because I'm coming into the office and now I don't see people's value. I don't trust them that they can do their job. I don't believe that they're going to help me. I believe they might be taking something from me. That's how the relationships don't work out. Undermining each other. Wow. We just don't feel safe. And that usually is because of trauma. It's all related. I tell you, I did not write any of this down, but now your questions are so good that it all is like related. Just conscious.
Yeah,
journey.
but it's like you're stepping on my toes. I want you guys to know that she is saying things that I experienced. I remember being easily offended, right? Somewhere in my 30s, and I had a wonderful friend. I call her my big sister, mentor, and she said out of her mouth, "You need to grow up." And, some of us might be like, but luckily at that moment, yes, did I have a meltdown? She couldn't say this, but she was so right. And I needed to grow up. Mm-hmm. I needed to. And that was a shift for me. Like when I say words are powerful, right? She said it. Now that don't mean that I wasn't, oh my gosh, I can't. Mm-hmm. But when the person so we had another friend who delivered, she says, she did it because she see power in you.
Yes. That's love.
Isn't that love? Mm-hmm. She was like, there's an anointed on you, mm-hmm. and you're letting this. And it was so simple, Dr. Lakeba. It was this. We were I'm also certified as a coach, right, at the time. Mm-hmm. And so I was showing up to the calls late. Mm-hmm. Now, anybody who knows me, I don't run like that. Like, that ain't who I am, but I was at the time. So this is before I grew up, right? When I'm going to get on at 2:05, 2:10. Mm-hmm. And she said, no. And that shifted for me that no, but that was also my shrinkage. I was shrinking myself at the same time. Because if you've got power, well, if I come in last, ain't nobody going to really notice me, right? No. Wow. And I'm going to call you right on out. And she did in front of everybody, right? So it was a life-changing moment, but I truly believe it is also how I became a better, victorious leader.
Yes.
Right? Because...
And less ego, right?
It was less, like... I thought I was, like, woo. She was like, no, you really not that great, but you can be great. That was what she was saying, right? But
I see it.
Oh, but you got to show up on time and show up for yourself, mm-hmm. And I think that's the way. So I do want to say, you talked about this political climate, and I do want to just talk about it because I think that this episode is one for people because you are in this place of counseling and therapy, and some people are in some interesting places, whether it's some dark places. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to share this and say, listen to me, right? Because I've made a decision for all of my listeners. I don't watch the news as much as I used to. Because I used to watch it because I was a former journalist and need to know all the news, and it was a requirement, and I lived it. And then when life hit, my mama left, I was like, I'm done with the news. I want to hear what the news got to say, and it helped me to sleep better.
Good.
And so, but some might tell you, if you ain't listen to the news, you don't know what's happening. It could just hit you with that. So I want you to really help those that feel like right now they feel hopeless. They believe because these programs are being wiped out, all the things that are occurring in this world, that like it's it for us. I would love for you to tell our listeners what's the toolbox? Like, what do they need?
So you're not alone, I guess I would say first.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel that way. But the good news is, just because you feel something doesn't mean it's a fact.
That's right.
And just because you think something doesn't mean it's true. And maybe on some level, that's what they want you to think and how they want you to feel. So the tool would be acknowledge how you feel, right? Acknowledge the sadness, the disappointment, the frustration, and journal about it. Get it out. You know, I'm with you. I do not watch the news. I have one news resource that I read every day. It's like they send a mass email every morning, and it's got like bullet points of everything that's going on.
I got that one too. I get one too, and it's bullet
That's
points.
enough for me.
That's enough
Yeah.
for me too.
I'm good.
That's it.
Yeah, because that is read after my Bible reading,
Right.
meditation,
Yes.
morning devotion,
Worship.
journaling.
Yes.
And then I read that, and then I'm good because I know what's going on.
Yep.
But it's covered, and I know it just. I need to be connected. I need to know what's going on, and at the same time, that's not the end of the story. And so, you ask a wonderful question: is it over? Are we done? I would go so far as to say the things that are happening, they must happen for us to know who we are and what we're capable of doing. And this ain't the first time we've been in a position like this, where we've seen the redistricting of voting principles.
Voting rights. Yeah.
Yeah, you got coming up with places where they're cutting up the map, and
Yeah.
now certain people are going to be able to vote here. And this isn't the first time. This is old.
It is.
This is an old playbook. So I don't think any of us should be surprised. We know what's going on, and we know why. It's to engender that sense of powerlessness. And if we remind ourselves of who we are and whose we are, I think we'll be okay. I know we'll be okay. We just have to grow up.
I love that you said that.
We do. We have to grow up. We have to realize the importance of the A's, the affection, the allowing. Allow people to be who they are and do what they do. When I hear about stuff that's going on, I say, okay, good. We need to know what's going on.
Yep.
We don't need to be ignorant of those devices. We need to know.
We need to know.
And we need to be informed, and we need to be involved. We need to vote. We need to get together. All things.
All the things. So tell me this. I want to say this because I think it's a great question. We talked about, and I want to go back to truth. Okay. Trust and truth, right? Because truth is love, but I also think that trust is being impacted. It's right now being impacted in our government system.
Yeah.
So what lessons have you learned about building trust, right? Whether it's with clients, customers, families, because trust is right now broken. Like, how did you navigate, what did you, because I think now we all are side eye. I'm side eye. I'm like, I don't know about, I don't know if you're going to steal. I don't know. And that's a real thing. I want people to be honest. I was just having a conversation about hiring someone who didn't look, I'm scared, there's a trust thing, right? But I also think that there's truth, right? There's truth in the fact that you feel not a feeling, but the truth is, have we been oppressed? That is a truth, right? So how do we literally, or what lessons have you learned that you think that people can take away in those spaces of trust?
You get to know people. That's the way you build trust.
Yeah.
I believe it's knowing and taking your time getting to know. Because to the degree that I know a person is trustworthy, that's how much I trust them. So I don't just trust.
Yeah. Break that
I
down.
get to know the person.
And so how can we get to know somebody our neighbors, like as business owners, you want to partner with somebody. How do we do that?
When I was hiring contract employees, I would do 3 rounds of interviews. Now, I'm not a Fortune 500, but I operate just like they do.
Yes, you do. That's right.
I'm vetting. We going to lunch. We taking our time.
Yeah.
And it's still a risk. But it's a calculated risk.
Yeah.
And I think a big thing is trusting that voice within, the intuitive voice.
Yeah.
And so it just takes getting to know people.
Yeah.
It takes time. And to the degree that I know that you're trustworthy, I'm going to trust you. And to the degree that I can trust you, that's how well or how much I'll rely on you. And if I can rely on you, then I'm committed to it. We can work together then.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to share the business model and really how I got to learn the things I learned. I'm going to pour into you.
Yeah.
Because I'm investing in you, I don't own you. I'm doing it because I want you to soar. I want you to fly. So however long you're with us, it's going to be great. Yeah. So how do you to build the trust? I think it's just authentic, just being real. That's how, because people are building trust with me too.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, that's true. And I think I think one of the things I was sharing with someone recently about, obviously we're a marketing company, right? And they were tired of things. I said, so if you look at, whatever platform you're in, because I'm a fan of, you don't have to be on all the platforms. You don't have to do the platforms that everybody knows it's 1,001 platforms you can be on. Yeah. Trust me, right? And I said, but so stop thinking that you're getting on the platform for customers and start looking like you're on the platform for allies.
Partnership. Yeah.
That's different, right?
Yeah,
so when that happens, it's less salesy. Let's just say that. And it's you being you, right? So inside of this business owner, right? You might cook, you might sew, you might do all the things. So choose that lane. Yeah. You don't have to choose the lane that people tell you to do. I said I think that's the demise of how we've dismantled the power of word of mouth. That's how we've dismantled, right? Because Dr. Lakeba, as much as, right, a neighbor can do business with you based on them seeing you take the garbage out every day at the same time. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. The consistency of it, right?
Correct.
And the authenticity
that
you speak and you do it on a consistent basis.
Correct.
And you're real.
Correct.
Right? You come out with you ain't got no shoes on. You walk into the mailbox. Okay, it's just real.
It's just real.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's it.
I've been looking for a person to do. Oh, okay. Hey, girl. Well, I'm going to go in and change. Did you want to go meet for coffee? We can be right back in. Like, I think we don't understand. And I remember saying this years ago, right? We grew up in a high rise, right? And we had a laundromat. So, this new fancy way we do washing at home, which is a blessing. Thank you. Thank you, Lord.
I love it now. Yes.
Right? But we went to the laundromat. Do you know how many of the laundromat discussions I had that were fruitful? Like, at the young age I was learning about, my mom, they got a program that I can get. Okay, well, let's get in the program. Right. It was those conversations that.
Nothing's for nothing.
Nothing was nothing. Yeah. Well, we folding up the clothes. Oh, and we had Venture got a sale on those pants you got on, girl. I saw. That was it, right?
Yes.
And that was building community, but it also allowed for them to know my mom in a different way or me in a different way. And so, but now that we are in a lot of ways are constrained in our houses online and doing all the things, we're not going to laundromats. We're not going and doing those things anymore. And so, I think that those were places where you can start up a conversation waiting in a DMV line that can turn into, oh my gosh, I just found me a new client, right?
Connect,
a lead, a prospect, all the things. And so I could talk to you all day, that, and I would love to do that. But I need for people to know how they can get in contact with you, Dr. Lakeba. I need them
That's
to know that.
That's another thing that's so fantastic about you. I've watched some of the shows that have been in this series, and folks that you've had, you're such a class act. They don't self-promote, but at the end, because I would not do it because I don't think about that.
I know.
But you're a businesswoman, as am I, and that is so important. It's important to let people know how to connect. So we have a website for my counseling practice, and it is freshhopetoday.com. Freshhopetoday.com.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and we are on the socials with that same handle.
Fresh Hope.
And so reach out to us. We'd love to connect. I do not advertise for my counseling services. I've stopped doing that a long time ago because of the reason you just mentioned. Your gift will make room for you.
Yes, it will.
The way you treat people and how you take care of people will speak for itself. And so I don't have to do that. So it's not just about me connecting with people. And I'm talking to everybody that is watching or listening. It's about what the energy you transfer to people when you do what you do. They're going to tell somebody. And that's in our hands, because that can be positive and high vibrational, or it can be negative and it can be low vibrational. We get to choose. We get to choose. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Do you take clients all over the world, or do you have a
So because of my licensing requirements,
yes,
I can take clients that live in Georgia and Alabama. I'm licensed in Alabama as well. But clients that are dealing with everyday problems can pull up in Georgia and sit in my office for what's called an intensive, and we can do therapy over the weekend. And that's for folks that are just dealing with everyday problems. Yeah, we can do that. So that's possible.
That's awesome. Yeah. So everyday people can roll up. Y'all better pull it. You know how we pull up on people? Pull up in the therapy. Pull up and get on the sofa.
Talk about this book, Larvetta. Let me talk about this book.
Oh yes, please. Come on.
My daughter and I wrote this book.
Oh, I love it.
The Mental Health Manifesto.
Okay.
And it's on Amazon and all the other
the Mental Health Manifesto.
Website, Books A Million. Yeah, it's in all the bookstores.
Okay.
So, but we wrote this little baby, and it's a powerful little book. It really is. It's got a lot of affirmations. I'm going to read one for you.
Please.
It's a principle number 7. I will notice when trauma is talking. I will take the time to sit with my feelings to figure out what is happening with me emotionally. In times of high stress or extreme sadness, I will take inventory of my body's reaction. I will monitor the way I talk to myself when I am disappointed with my decisions. We need to know, is that trauma or is that truth? And there is a difference. There is a difference. Now, reading this little book isn't going to answer all your questions. I encourage people, go to therapy. And that doesn't mean you have to go to see me. It just means you need to talk to somebody. Because I have a therapist.
Yeah, the therapist got a therapist.
Absolutely.
And as business owners, so I'm going to tell y'all this, as business owners, now this is me talking, you all. As business owners, if you want to see your business thrive, it's a vitamin that you need. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not here to talk about nobody. I'm not gonna say it, because what you're gonna find is those blind spots is not.
You can't see your face.
You can't see it
unless you're looking in the mirror. But your people can see you.
Correct.
I'm in business with my children. They know me from when they came in, even before they were here.
Yep.
And if anybody can tell you what I'm really like, they can tell you. But they rock with me because I do my work. You know what I ask my kids? Hey, how am I showing up? Are there some things I need to work on? Larvetta, you know what? I absolutely adore you. This is the beginning of a connection for us.
I am certain. And it's funny, you set me up, and I loved it because I was about to say, we would do our BB and brag moment, which is where you get to brag, and you went right into it. So I said, yes, she went right. And I appreciate it because we have to be in this place to give the people the tools and to brag. You are an author, and I need you to put that in your bio. You don't have that in your bio, so I want you to fix that.
It is, isn't it?
No,
it's not in there.
It's not in there. It's
Sheesh,
not. So I need you to fix it because I did not. Because I would have. Please, she is an author. Because I need
speaker.
Speak. I need all that. That. So I need you to just, I'm going to drop
speak
that.
to speakers.
Yes, you see. I need that in here, Dr. Lakeba. Yeah, I knew that already, but I just want the rest of the people, especially the people in the back, to get that. Yes. So as we close, I just want to say this, and I don't want to close this, but what I do want to say is I'm grateful for this and for my business owners, for those that are aspiring, those that feel hopeless. This is an episode that I need you to put on replay. Because I do think that we get something, right? And we put it in a microwave, we put it in for 2 minutes, and it's warm. That's not what we're doing here. Because we want to build generational success, wealth, health, all of that.
Legacy.
We want all of that. And that only comes with consistency. And you said that early on. So I do, in this climate that we are in today, why do Black businesses matter?
They matter because we all we got.
Yeah.
They matter because we have something to offer this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm when you say that, it's so interesting, and I repeat this, and people don't do a lot of research, but one thing that I will tell you that I will do is research, right? The reason why this podcast is here for Dr. Lakeba and every guest that we've ever had is because I watched all the money being thrown at us. And I said, this isn't going to go on forever. We've got to build a platform for them to see us and be able to tap into our platform.
You got something to give.
You got to.
Yes.
And so if I saw that coming, right, and what you just said, that intuition, as someone who's in insights and working in a space, that I knew that was a setup. I know this thing known enough to know it was a setup. So I said, we're going to build this platform, right?
You must.
And here we are, right? As it dismantles D&I, we got
all the things.
Public
television, the funding.
All of this. But this platform right here said, I knew it was coming, and we still standing, right?
And feeling a void of leadership, feeling a void of, and they didn't build it, so they can't dismantle it.
That part. So they can't take me off the air.
That's entrepreneurship, isn't it?
That's entrepreneur. You can't take me off the air because I chose to seek about Christ. You can't take me off the air because of that. And that right there is something that I'm grateful that I didn't move in fear, that I didn't let people who told me like, girl, you ain't gonna work. And here we are, 10 seasons gone, over 100 episodes, number 10 on the podcast million, not because we were looking for anything. I just had to say that because as I've sat here, I would not have met a Dr. Lakeba and all these incredible, outstanding owners who are changing the trajectory of how we see things in the narratives. I just had a moment and said, that's why we matter. Yeah. That's why we matter.
We got us. Yeah.
And when you have that right there, so hold on to this. And the thing is, this is inclusive. So you don't have to be on the platform. You can Google Black Businesses Matter podcast and get it wherever you are in Romania. Okay. Quebec, wherever you want to get it. This doesn't mean that. So that's the other part, right? We're not doing that here. So I needed to say that because I want to make sure that in this climate, you don't have to feel alone. And you said that when we first started, you're not alone. And I think we have to be able to say that, right? So as we close, we know that joy, Black joy was a currency, right? And we didn't have permission to share our joy. What brings you joy, Dr. Lakeba?
I love being with my family. I love being with my friends. Those connections bring me joy. I love being Black. it makes me so happy. I love being a woman. I wouldn't want to be anything else.
I love it.
We've had a good time.
We have had like when I say extraordinary time, I
Yes.
didn't know how much. I knew that I would. Now, let me say this. I knew this. But what I didn't know, Dr. Lakeba, that this season would bring me more joy. Touching on something as trauma, you would think like, oh my gosh, this is going to be
karmic.
heavy. Yeah, it is.
You're putting it out there. It's gonna bless you because you're a blessing.
I
It
receive
can't
that.
help but to. It's a universal law.
I receive that. And I look forward to the day that we will meet face to face, and it will be like I just met. Even there's only two real people that I like, that I love, and that's President Obama and Michelle Obama. So those are my two. You next in line.
And they are amazing people.
See, and you done met
Yes.
them, right? And see,
Oh.
and so you next, you right behind them, Dr. Lakeba. So I need you to know you right behind the former president and the first lady. So that's how I feel about you. So thank you so much. I do believe when, I'm going to say this, a fresh hope. Did I have this fresh hope today?
Yes.
.com.
Yes.
Guys, make them your friend. Bless somebody. Holidays are coming up. Maybe the gift that you give them is hope.
Yeah.
Give them
Get the
fresh
book.
hope. Get the book. Like
The Mental Health Manifesto. Get the book.
Get the
Get the book.
book, you all.
Yeah.
This right now, the space that we're in, we've got the tools. Now go use them, go download them, go buy them, go support whatever you need to do. We got it. Okay.
And
so
take care of yourselves.
that part, take care of yourselves. And so I just want to say, listeners, this one is special. You know that I feel that way about all my episodes.
Yes, you do.
This one is a special one because I knew that I said everybody be crying, and I was crying on here, but I knew that would happen because that's just, we're not gonna hold back tears. We are gonna let tears flow because that's freedom. We're gonna be vulnerable. Yeah. And so this it's safe. And and again, this is my network and this is my platform. So we could go ahead and do this. Yes. So guys, we love you. We thank you for just rocking with us. Thank you for this season. Thank you, Dr. Lakeba. As you all know, we love you. We thank you. We thank you for every share. We thank you for just knowing that this platform isn't just to separate ourselves for others, but it is to bring light to the power that we have. So thank you guys for another episode of Black Businesses Matter. See you next week.
The Black Businesses Matter podcast is produced by the L3 Agency, a culturally sensitive influencer, marketing, and communications firm in Chicago, where relationships are our currency, passion is our profit maker, and people are our bottom line. Follow us on Instagram at Black Businesses Matter.